Hey, welcome back. Got a nice little midweek surprise review for you today. Of course, it's not a surprise. You can read the title so you know what it is already. But today's review is sponsored by threezero, who was gracious enough to send us the advanced copy of the just announced Iron Man Mark 42 in their DLX line. This is one of my favorite Iron Man suits because it's got this great gold and red deco. Just like we saw with the Mark 46 suit and that silver and red deco. I kind of like it when they mix up the colors. So another great design. This one was featured throughout Iron Man 3, sort of like the hero suit. It had those fun capabilities of being able to break apart and reassemble. Fun fact, it also made a brief appearance in Spider-Man Homecoming in the background on the cargo plane with all the shipments. So yeah, nice one that appeared in 2 movies. So let's take a look at the box and then we'll get inside this figure and check out what's so unique about him. Immediately you can see this guy along with his brethren in the background. Similar box art. It's Infinity Saga still, so you have that space background with a nice action shot of the figure on the package. You could really see off those features. Of course, this guy's going to have glowing eyes and a glowing arc reactor too, something we've come to rely on, and it's a great feature in these figures that really sets them apart from other characters in this medium. But not much else to the box. Let's take a quick look on the inside. Again, that same window box design where you had the figure on the right with some call-out features on the left. This guy looks amazing. That gold detail really looks great, particularly with the die cast in him. But it's hard to see with the window glare there, so we're just gonna kind of hop in and check it out. Again, they still have the Velcro securing the door here. I always prefer magnetic, but it's not a game changer here because it's really all about the figure. All right, so let's take a look at the inside. These are all pretty standard. They come in the same kind of packaging here with the instructions, sort of going over all the 48 points of articulation and the different hands and the accessories and how to attach everything, which we've shown you in previous videos, so not much has probably changed in that department. And of course the nice warranty sheet in this one here. So they always have 2 distinct packaging components. One is for the base. Of course it's going to have the character Mark 42 on this one with the Infinity Saga logo, and then the different attachments either for thrusters or for repulsors. They usually had a weird little tab in there. I could never figure out what it was for. This time there's no little tab. There's an even smaller little tab. I think it's just something to help you pry off the back panel to insert the base holder into, because that could take a little bit of either a fingernail or something to pry it off most times. So that might just be for that. And then of course you got the figure here with all his various hand attachments. Looks absolutely gorgeous. That nice die cast system on there. The red really pops, the gold really pops, and of course you have that same light up functionality where you click on the chest. The head's a little different. There's no click on the head. You have to take off the head panel here and then hit the switch to make the eyes light up. There we go. We had a little bit of trouble with our eyes this time. Some of the solder came off from the battery component. That could happen sometimes in manufacturing. Fortunately, pretty good with soldering here, so we were able to fix that pretty easily. But other than that, same batteries as we went through last time, so no change in the battery. That seems to be consistent through a lot of threezero, that A1 or equivalent battery. So same sort of flexibility in joints as the other figures here we come to expect, where we have that shoulders that are able to have the articulation. We have that seamless chest articulation here. We have the ability for the legs to pull out a little bit to give you a little bit more agency in his kneeling poses. And of course that thigh armor articulates out as well to allow you to make that full bend over. There's no hip armor like there is in the Mark 50 here, so it's a little bit easier. Still has his double elbows, his double knees, his ankles. There's a little armor articulation here as well to allow all the way down to the foot to allow a little bit more movement there. Yeah, I mean, amazing. I'm sure he's got some rear panels as well that come up. Should have at least 2, I believe, in the movie. Yep, here we go. So we have those rear panels, we'll show you in a close-up in a minute, that lift up as well. So yeah, he has all that detail, all that color. The light up feature, again, love that, looks great on this guy. So we'll do a quick hand test, because I always love hand testing every single figure to make sure it has that ease. Again, I like to do the twisting motion so that you never break anything here. So he has two sets of sort of repulsor hands that have the nice silver in there. One's more dynamic, one's more relaxed than the other. And then he has two sets of hands where you could put the repulsor beams into, either for flight effect or for an attack. And just, yep, easily twist right on. So we come to expect that. It's dependable for threezero. They get really good hand attachment and removal, so no problems there. So these just kind of insert here in the palm, just like they do with the other models, so you can get that repulsor beam. And then of course you could put the longer ones in the feet here for the flying effect. The back panel is where you're going to have to remove in order to connect that base stand into it. So that comes off pretty easy. I don't think you need any tools to do that. What I like about these newer models as opposed to the older ones we've shown you is they relocated the chest battery into the body cavity by just twisting off and changing it in here, as opposed to before you'd have to take off the chest panel, which I think kind of weakens the integrity of the armor and then can pop off when you're trying to make your movements. This one, like we saw with the Mark 46, this one has sort of chest articulation as well, I guess, to help you move those shoulders over a little bit. Now, unlike the movie, I don't think it does, but I don't think all the pieces are going to separate. That would be amazing, but it would also be super messy. So they're not going to separate and reattach or self-destruct like they do in the film. But I still think it captures a lot of that great detail that we see in the film, and with their unique die cast and PVC combination system here, that really makes these pop over other figures in similar lines. I mean, you can't get this nice reflective automotive finish without doing the die cast, and I think it really just helps the figure just pop here. The last thing we'll check out is he's going to have some wrist rocket attachments right here, and I've seen these typically just involve popping out a panel here on the side and then attaching it. So in this instance, I think it's going to be this little red panel right here. It's just giving me some trouble. There it goes. That might be what the little tool is for. It's getting into these little wrist panels. They can be a little tricky sometimes depending on whether or not you have nails. So this one here is just going to fit on the little hole here, and then attach with just little pressure fit. And then of course you could just move the arm here and then turn it at the shoulder joint to have him pointing the wrist rocket right at you. So you could have one or two of those. It kind of looks seamless. The armor at the top of the wrist rocket matches the armor that you're replacing it with, so it looks like it's all one piece in the figure. So pretty cool, nice attention to detail there. Again, great articulation, great coloring. Let's give you some close-ups so you can see all the features of this guy and see this amazing gold and red color scheme. Of course, every time I have an Iron Man, I have to do him with his missile launcher pose. It's one of my favorite features in the Iron Man suits. It just helps really elevate this character by giving him some depth. He has these hidden weapons. It's kind of cool. I love that feature. Beyond that, you could use his standard repulsor hands, so where it just has that silver undertone in the palm, so he's sort of in a menacing or a posturing pose. And then of course you could switch it right over to the full repulsors, where he has the energy beam effect coming out of his hands. They give you two sets of hands with this. I think one is more for an attack mode, and then of course you get over to the hover mode or the flying mode, which allows you to have a little bit more of an angle on the wrist to achieve that lift look. This is where the base really comes into use to give you that levitation look, if you want to display it this way, or just, you know, keep it on your shelf in an action pose. I think it's easy. And of course you see those flaps on the back as well, helping him create that flight look and just giving it a little bit more attention to detail. You could see in their engineering here, a little bit more depth into the character, the medium, and just shows off what these figures really can do. Of course, again, they have those 48 points of articulation, over 220 different components on these guys. I mean, it's just crazy amount of engineering put into these things, and they are definitely top-notch when it comes to a figure class of this size. Fitting so much detail and so much component into something so small is just kind of amazing. Not to mention that great light-up feature. Yeah, another great addition to the line. Loved how this one turned out. The paint applications are amazing. Just looks really good. That mixed medium of the die-cast and the PVC really makes it pop, really captures those deep colors that make the Mark 42 so unique and memorable and iconic to Iron Man 3. This is the hero armor. This is one they really needed to make. Just the uniqueness of this really helps it stand out in your collection. You kind of have enough now if you've gotten the previous ones to have your own house party with this guy at the center. So that's pretty cool. So this was just announced a couple weeks ago. If you were lucky to get in on their limited offer, they had about 1,000 pieces available to start shipping sooner, but it goes open for pre-order on December 1st. So keep checking fan channels or check threezero. We'll have a link obviously to them on this article that you could pre-order it through them again. These do tend to sell out pretty fast direct from threezero, but they do appear on fan channels, so you could pick it up there as well. There's a couple others coming out next year. If you haven't seen the announcement, there's going to be a new War Machine coming out as well. There was a Mark II armor teased, so we might see that in the future with that great all-silver look. So yeah, these are great. If this is your first time seeing one of these videos, these figures are really amazing. You can check out the other armors that we've done. You can see behind me here and how they kind of stand out and each unique from the other. As they go along these lines, they've been improving on the engineering, giving you a little bit more agency in the chest, as we saw in the Mark 46. We're seeing again here that relocation of the battery compartment to the inside instead of the outside of the chest unit, so you don't need to play around with the chest panels, which is great. It's also fun to just kind of have that click on and off feature. I wish they would have something similar for the head where you could just push it on without having to open the head panel, but it's not too much of a hassle. It's on there pretty secure and it doesn't flop off or anything like that, so no worries on that. But yeah, this guy's really awesome. Highly recommend him. Pick him up if you can. Look for those pre-orders, like I said, on December 1st. Like, subscribe, and follow to our channel for more threezero news. And we'll have some more reviews for you as well coming up from threezero. We have much more in Anime Month that we're in right now, so turn back for some more of those. So until then, we'll see you guys next time.